Jeremy and Teresa, where are Noah's books? Great, I'll click them. Anybody that we're waiting for? Are they Do we hold things until they arrive or just keep going? Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning. This is Rabbi Batsheva Appel, and I am delighted that all of you are here this morning to celebrate Shabbat and to celebrate with Noah Finkelman and his family and friends as he becomes a bar mitzvah and marks this amazing moment in his life. You will notice that this does not look like B'nai Israel. Those of you who are coming in via YouTube, the people who are coming in via Zoom will be directed to YouTube because that's the world that we live in at the moment. We had a problem with our AC in the sanctuary at B'nai Israel, and I spoke with Rabbi Appleby very early this morning, and she very generously said, yeah, sure, it makes sense for us to share this space with you so that Noah can become bar mitzvah safely. So I need to start this morning with a huge note of gratitude towards Beth Shalom Synagogue for allowing us to just move everything over here. So thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who's present in the sanctuary this morning for wearing masks and doing some measure of distancing. That's primarily why we're not at B'nai. Because it wasn't a matter of being uncomfortable, it was a matter of no air exchange and therefore not being completely safe. The prayer books that you have here are all the same, but the prayer books of people who are joining us online are not necessarily the same. You will hear me give 2 page numbers. Those of you who are present in the sanctuary, the page number that you will want to pay attention to is the second larger page number. And that will be the page number that you will find the prayer that's being read in the prayer book. It is with great sadness that I say that even at this point in the pandemic, singing remains a super spreading activity. So we are asking people not to sing during the service, as painful as that can be, and to leave the singing to those of us who are on the bima. And let me say one more time, thank you so much to Rabbi Terry Appleby and to Beth Shalom Synagogue, who just basically opened their doors and their arms to invite us here this morning to celebrate Shabbat. I'm going to invite you to turn to page 171, page 289. And I would like to invite up to the bima Noah's grandparents, Stephen and Rachel Finkelman, to present Noah with his talit. Okay, Noah, you're not going to be able to receive it if you're not standing right there. Good choice. I'm sorry? Okay.
Say so.
Okay. Noah, we are very, very proud of you and very happy to present you with your own talit and power, and we hope you use this throughout your lifetime. Okay?
Like that, yep. And then we're going to read the blessing right there.
This one. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvot tav v'tivanu l'titate bazizit.
Kiss the palms. Throw it around your shoulders. Yes. There you go. And we have a blessing that we say for all new and wonderful things. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu, v'hegianu lasman hazeh. Shehechianu v'kiyamanu, v'hegianu lasman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the cosmos, who has given us life, who has sustained us, and has enabled us to reach this amazing moment in time. Mazal tov. Congratulations. Congratulations. See, I told you there'd be hugging and kissing now. Is that comfortable? Excellent. We continue now on page 170, the facing page to where we began. Moda'ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shehechazarta b'nishmati b'chemla, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha. Page 173 in the middle of the page, page 291.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware. We would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol besar umfli la'asot.
We continue, page 174, page 292.
The soul that you have given me, O God, is pure. You created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as I have breath, therefore I will give thanks to you. My God and the God of all ages, source of all being, loving guide of every human spirit. Baruch atah Adonai, asher b'yado nefesh kol chai beruach kol besar ish.
We continue on page 175, page 293, with the blessings that we say each day for the miracles in our lives.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasek v'ina lahavhin bein yom uvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam okah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamehi mitadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotain laya'ef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'enai utnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben horim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam otzer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asot b'divrei Torah.
We continue on page 180, page 298.
These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. There are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all.
We continue now on page 194, page 312. Yitkadav yitkadash shemei rabba be'alma divrach irte ve'amlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uchayedecho beit Yisrael bagala bagala uvizman karim ve'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam u'olmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekutsha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'yimeru amen. As I invite the congregation to stand, I'd like to invite forward David Brandolph and David Lipsky to open the ark for us. Please remain standing. We continue on page 196, page 314.
The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning, my Torah, my special human gift, his words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai, Otzer Ham Orot.
page 199, 317.
O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear, in every land and every age. Your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways, and yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully, we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and the sages of Israel. And joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stirs our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, boher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ava.
Page 200, page 318. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad,
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta Adonai Elohecha b'kol lecha u'kol nefshecha u'kol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha. V'shinatam levanecha v'divartam bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha. Ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mizizot beitecha uvi sharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mizotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem mieretz Mitzrayim leot lachem leelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We continue on page 204, page 322. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot. O Sefele, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Tzur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, ufdechenu mecha, Yuda ve'Yisrael. Go Aleinu, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. As I invite the congregation to please stand, I'd like to invite up to the bima Charlene Daniels and Marty Bucaro to please open the ark. We continue individually with our prayers through page 216, page 334. When you are finished with your prayers, I invite you to then be seated. Amecha, Barchenu Yotzreinu, Kulanu Kechad, Beor Panecha, Ki Beor Panecha, Natatalanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen Vachesed Verachamim, Aleinu, Be'apa Yisrael, ועל כל ישראל עמך, תורת חיים ואהבת חסד, ואהבת חסד, וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. שמחה שלום, טובה וברכה, חן בחסד ורחמים, רחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל עמך, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שמחה שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל עמך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a moment, brief moment for silent prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, be acceptable to you. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Adonai, my rock and redeemer. Amen. Have a seat for a moment. We have now come to the central part of a Shabbat morning service, which is removing the Torah from the ark and reading from it. There are 3 days during the week when we read Torah typically, as in taking it from the ark, etc. And those are days when the most people will be present. And on Shabbat, especially when we have time to consider and to think about what it is that we have read. So Noah has been a fantastic student because not only has he had a last-minute dislocation of location, but he had a planned, scheduled dislocation of time. He spent a significant amount of time preparing his Torah portion for a week in April. And it's a great Torah portion, and I wasn't going to make him learn a new one when we made the decision to move the date of the bar mitzvah to today. So although our calendar says that today is Parashat Re'eh in the book of Deuteronomy, the Torah portion that Noah's going to read is Kedoshim from Leviticus. And that is the center of the scroll, and it is our holiness code. And Noah will share a few thoughts of his own about the holiness code after we finish the Torah reading. So for those of you who picked up a Chumash, which is the book of the Torah, if you'll hold yours up in the air. Some of you picked that up. You're looking for Leviticus 19, verse 1. For those of you who didn't, it's okay, because we have professionals who are actually going to read the Torah portion. They're going to read the translation. So that's up to you. Steve, you're very generous. If we might have some takers, and if we don't, that's fine too. So anybody who's interested, please accept what Steve is sharing, and if you're not interested, that's okay as well. I am now going to invite onto the bima Jennifer Ariella and Sienna Riveri and Elias Finkelman. I am also inviting onto the bima Stephen, Rachel, and Jeremy Finkelman and Teresa Daniels Miley. Please rise in honor of the Torah. Arrange this. I think we're going to have to, this we didn't practice. And see, I should have practiced it. So Noah, you're going to stand right there. And Teresa, you're going to stand next to your son, and you can put your book down. And Jeremy, you're going to stand next to Teresa. And Rachel, you're going to stand next to your son. And Stephen, you're going to stand next to Rachel. That'll work. Why don't you stand at the lowest step? Okay? Great, and I've got to get it twice full. No, Noah needs to be at the, okay, got it. We're good. Jeremy, stand right there. And Rachel, you'll give me just a little space. Al Shloshah Devarim, Al Shloshah Devarim, Al Shloshah Devarim, Ha'olam, Omed. Allah Torah ve'Allah Avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Allah Torah ve'Allah Avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Al shlosha devarim. Gotta give it a strong, more firm. There you go. Al shlosha devarim. Ha'olam omed. Ha'olam, ha'olam, omed. This is the Torah. In it are the history, the stories, the sacred narrative, the laws and customs of our people. It has been handed down l'dor vador from generation to generation. Today, on the day that Noah becomes bar mitzvah, he receives Torah from his generations. We're on page 366. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shema. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam omed, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam, Ha'olam omed. Got it? Allah Torah, ve'Allah Avodah, ve'al gimilut chasadim, except for Stephen and Rachel. Allah Torah, ve'Allah Avodah, ve'al gimilut chasadim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam, ha'olam omed. Thank you, Steve. I do. In fact, I have it written in a book. And I have to call you up first. See, this is, you're doing the thing that I said you should do, which is to be eager to be up at the Torah. So hang on a second. It is Charlene. Where'd you go? There you are. Fantastic. It is my pleasure to invite onto the Bima Noah's grandparents, Rachel and Stephen Finkelman and Charlene Daniels. Ya'amod Shlomo ben Baruch, Ta'amod Rachel bat Avraham v'Sara. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barabanu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Dahaber el Kohadat b'nei Yisrael. Ve'amarta elihem kedoshim. Tell you ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. Ish imo v'aviv tira'u. Yet shatotai tishmaru. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chai olam nata b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. I thought you still had it. Oops. It's okay. We're good. There's a reason why I made multiple copies. And then proceeded to... Yeah, it happens too.
The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the whole Israelite community and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. You shall each revere his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I, the Lord, am your God.
Thank you. We continue now with our second Aliyah, which begins at verse 4. And I'd like to call up Noah's aunt and uncles, Jason Finkelman, Jennifer Riveri, and Wesley Daniels. Ya'amod Yaakov ben Shlomo Berachel. Ta'amod Alana bat Shlomo Berachel. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Al tifnu el ha'elelim ve'elohe masecha lo tasu lachem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Vehi tizbithu zavak shalamim la'Adonai lirtzonechem tizbahuhu. Ve'yom zelchachem ve'achel umimachorat v'hainot tar ad yom hashlishi ba'esh isaref.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'haye olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Okay, if you'll read the English.
Do not turn to idols or make molten gods for yourselves. I, the Lord, am your God. When you sacrifice an offering of well-being to the Lord, sacrifice it so that it may be accepted on your behalf. It shall be eaten on the day you sacrifice it, or on the day following. But what is left by the third day must be consumed in fire.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Risotto. Okay, is that the right spot? We're not there yet. We continue on page 253, page 371. Can you hand me that book right there? Yep. Thank you. It is customary to, if we are going to say prayers on behalf of those who are in healing, to especially say them while the Torah is out and open. And so on behalf of B'nai Israel, I would like to keep the following in mind for healing: Skip Bertman, Mimi Grossman, Joy Lewis, Ted Laborde, Paulette Piku, Robin Mayer, Lucy Silva, Elizabeth Saxey, Alan Levy. And on behalf of my apologies. There we go. On behalf of Beth Shalom Synagogue, Gretchen Haynes, Minna Bat Yentel, Mordechai Bendina, Judith Bon Bretnall, Rowan Hausman, Belinda Salznick, Heather Barnett, Jonathan Herrera, Anna Herrera, Carmen Torres, Simon Carlo, Barbara Burton, Vicky Pashman, Miles Rodriguez, Sally Kovacevic, Anna Carlo, Judy Roheim, Maureen Corcoran, Sally Duet, Fredel Tamara Batliba Bela, Vicky Firstel, Wallace Dunham. For myself, I include the names Harav Chana Rochel Bat Rosa and Harav Dini. Are there others that you would keep in mind for healing? If so, please say their names now. For those that we name and for those that we keep close in our hearts, I sing this prayer. Misha berach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe berach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We continue with the Torah reading beginning on verse 7. I would like to call up Noah's parents, Jeremy Finkelman and Teresa Daniels Miley. Ya'amod Yirmiyahu ben Shlomo v'Rachel.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu michol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Va'im he'achoyachel bayom hashlishi pikuhu lo yebatzeh ochlav avono isa ki et kodesh Adonai hilel v'nechrata hanefesh hahi meyamen.
Expect to speak on why we chose your name, Noah Alton. You were named after a dear friend of your dad's and after my dad, both of whom we lost too early, both of whose memories are blessings. On that day, we shared some of the qualities we hoped you would share with your namesakes as you grew up. Creativity, integrity, kindness and generosity, an eagerness to laugh and smile.
From a very young age, you knew exactly what you wanted and did not want, what you liked and did not like. May that surety always illuminate your path. And while we cannot promise you an easy journey, remember that within you are generations of strength and love. Let them embolden you.
May the family you build, the friends you choose, and the faith you develop make your steps more confident. May you remain strong but not become hardened. May your words and actions spring from empathy, understanding, and love. And may your innate sense of right and wrong be a gift you share with us.
As we've watched you mature over the past years, the way you interact with your friends and brothers, the effort you put into your studies, into your passions, and into Scouts, you continually make us proud and bring so very much joy into our lives. We know that Noah and Alton would be honored to have you as their namesake. You wear their names very well. We love you.
Love you too.
Now I get the honor of calling Noah for his first aliyah as a bar mitzvah. First, let's make sure we're in the right place. Yes. There we go. You got it? Oh, excellent. Ya'amod Noach ben Yirmiyahu la'aliyah.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Uv kuterchem et kitir artechem lo tachale pe'atzadcha liksor v'leke kitircha lo telekate le'ani v'harmecha lo tachale Uv eret harmecha lo telekate le'ani v'leger ta'azov otam ani Adonai Elohechem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'haye olam natan b'ktoheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the edges of your field, or gather the gleaning of your harvest. You shall not pick your vineyard bare, or gather the fallen fruit of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I, the Lord, am your God.
Mazal tov. Congratulations, you
Thank
did it.
you.
I would like to now call up to the bima Jason Finkelman and Cynthia Oliver to lift and dress the Torah. I'd invite the congregation to please stand Ya'amod, Hamagdia ta'amod, Hagolelet. וזאת התורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Please be seated. You're going to want to stay up here because he's going to be doing the tour. There's before.
That's before. That's the Haftarah.
Yep.
That's the
Yep. So the Haftarah for today is the Haftarah for Parashat Re'eh. So Steve Cavalier will probably have that in a jiffy to be able to share with the rest of us. I know, it's hard to go. I mean, here's one of the things I like to share with people. How many of you have like a Kindle or a Nook or a Kobo or something like a digital reader of some sort? Raise your hand. Really easy to get around in that, right? How many of you are familiar with the codex form of a book? It looks kind of like this. Has like a index in the back and a table of contents in the front, yeah? Easy to get around. You can mark your place. You can put your finger in one place and skip back and forth. Scrolls, not so easy. Scroll technology requires a little bit of doing to get from one place to the other. And that's how I know that Noah's Torah portion is so important, because it's in the middle of the scroll, which means it's the easiest place to get to, no matter where else you are in the scroll. Steve, what'd you find? 1085. Thank you so much for your help with that. So a Torah portion right smack in the middle of Leviticus, clearly incredibly important, because you're never very, it's not too far. When Rabbi Appleby and I spoke this morning about this move, one of the first things she said was, oh, and the Torah scroll is rolled, but then we realized Leviticus, but it's good. So you're going to read your Haftarah now and the blessing before.
Baruch atah.
No. Baruch atah.
Oh, yeah, right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'eh ha'emet v'tzedek. Okay. Ho, all who are thirsty, come for water, even if you have no money. Come, buy food and eat. Buy food without money, wine and milk without cost. Why do you spend money for what is not bread, your earnings for what does not satisfy? Give heed to me, and you shall eat choice food and enjoy the richest viands. Incline your ear and come to me. Hearken, and you shall be revived. And I will make with you an everlasting covenant, the enduring loyalty promised to David, as I made him a leader of peoples, a prince and commander of peoples. So you shall summon a nation you did not know, and a nation that did not know you shall come running to you, for the sake of the Lord who has glorified you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zor kol haolamim adik b'kol hadarot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber u'mkayim shekol devarav emet batzedek al ha'torah Va'al havodah, va'al hanvi'im, va'al yom hashabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'linucha, lehavod ultifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umvarachim ota, yitbarach shimka b'ficho chai, tamid leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh hashabbat.
Amen. So why don't we see if we can get Noah and Ben and Asher to clean up all of that candy? Yeah, I thought so.
I'm good.
You're good?
Just one more. Yeah.
You get to take a tiny break. We continue now with a series of prayers that is said at this time. I'd like to invite up to the Bima Asher's and Noah's brother and sister, Asher's sister and Noah's brother and sister, Asher Finkelman and Madison Moreno. And we are at page 258, 376, and 259, 377.
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of your ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread it over its canopy.
There is a new month that starts tomorrow. And just so you know, the fact that there's a new month that starts tomorrow means that we will be 1 month away from Rosh Hashanah. So for those of you who thought, oh, I'll wait till after Labor Day and then just figure out when services are, don't do that, because services are on Labor Day. Okay, so if you haven't been looking at the calendar closely, it's time to start. So I'm on page 261, page 379. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba letova ve'livracha vatiten lanu chayim arukim chayim shel shalom chayim shel parnasa Chayim shetehe vanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shemayim. Chayim sheyimalu mishalot libenu letova. Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Elul Yiyeh Machar. Yiyeh B'Yom Rishon. The new month of Elul will begin tomorrow on Sunday. I would invite you to please rise as I invite Brandy and Isabel Daniels and Byron Gideon to open the ark for us as we return the Torah scroll to the ark. Because you got to do your speech. Please be seated. That is the right speech. I know it's the right speech. Okay, you good? Okay. Noah, as I said, has been working on this Torah portion for a long time. He is going to share a few of his thoughts about that Torah portion.
Shabbat Shalom. Hi, it's so good to see you all today. A bar mitzvah is a person who is 13 years old and counts as an adult in Judaism. You do not get to drive, but you are responsible and you are a person who might be asked to help. I am marking becoming bar mitzvah at services and reading Torah because my family encouraged me. I really thought it would have been a lot harder and I didn't know how I would learn all of it in the amount of time I was given, but I did it anyway. I prepared to become a bar mitzvah and lead services by practicing my prayers and my Torah portion and meeting with the rabbi. My Torah portion, Kiddushim, is about holiness and contains the holiness code. To be holy, you have to respect people, respect your parents and your family. You have to respect God. You leave food to the poor. If you are a farmer, you wouldn't cut all the way to the corners of your field and let the poor harvest the rest. Don't put anything in the way of people who cannot see, and don't say bad things or make fun of the deaf because they cannot hear. I had to ask a question about my Torah portion, and I asked, why don't we cut all the way to the corners of our fields? Why leave things behind? I wanted to know why they did that. It didn't make sense to me. Why do all of these things? Isn't it really inefficient? The commentator Sephorno states, the Torah now turns to how we can imitate God's attributes and practice after having accepted that it is our purpose on earth to imitate God's characteristics to the extent that God has revealed them to us. We are to perform acts of charity and righteousness. Part of such acts of charity are the providing the underprivileged out of the bounty God has seen fit to grant us. Then I asked the rabbi, and she told me that we do this so that the poor are able to get the food themselves. You are still getting a decent amount of cross, but you are also leaving cross behind is something that God tells us to do. Being able to help oneself preserves a certain amount of dignity for the poor. Part of my mitzvah project was taking care of the garden by the religious school entrance. With help from my mother and brothers, I took out all the weeds and the dead plants and replaced them with new plants and flowers and watered them all. It was something that was needed by Congregation B'nai Israel, and I was happy to help. My brothers and I also helped with the new community garden in Hammond, Louisiana. We spent a weeding and preparing the area where the new beds would be laid. I am also participating in a coastal restoration project with a nonprofit organization called ABLE, Anglers Bettering Louisiana Estuaries. Louisiana estuaries are comprised of more than 3 million acres of habitat for countless wildlife, bird, and fish species. These vital ecosystems are being threatened, the most crucial threat being land loss. I will be collecting black mangrove seeds in the fall. In greenhouses, these seeds will grow into mangroves to be planted along the eroding shoreline. I look forward to assisting with the planting once the trees are ready. Because I love Louisiana, it's my home, I think that it is important to preserve the shorelines from erosion and to help leave the land better than we found it. I would like to thank my parents for making sure that I was at my lessons, giving me a backpack to keep all my materials so that I don't forget them, and for their love and support. My brothers, Asher and Ben, for being my brothers and helping me with the garden projects. Rabbi Goldstein and Appel for helping me to prepare and being supportive. Rabbi Appel helped me a lot. Mr. Justin and Miss Candace, my religious school teachers, for being great teachers. To everyone who is here today to celebrate with my family. Thank you.
I would like to invite up Andy Blumberg, who is the president of B'nai Israel, while I extend my thanks yet one more time to Mark Posner and to Rabbi Terry Appleby of Beth Shalom Synagogue.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again to Beth Shalom for welcoming us. I think we can all agree it feels much better in here than it did last night after the year went out. Noah, mazel tov to you. Congratulations. Very well done. I continue to be amazed by all the B'nai mitzvahs this year that have had to go through all these challenges that have done amazingly, and it was beautiful, beautiful. On behalf of WCBI, I'd like to present you with this Kiddush cup.
Thank you.
We also have, on behalf of Congregation B'nai Israel, we have a $250 gift certificate for a trip to Israel.
Thank you.
And a framed Torah your framed Torah portion that was done by Dr. Harold Brandt.
Thank you.
And finally, your certificate of completion.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
See, with a certificate, you know that it actually happens. Okay. We are now going to begin to conclude our service. We're going to be on page 282, page 586. I'd like to invite up to the bima to open the ark Scott Miley and Benjamin Finkelman, and if the congregation would please rise. Aleinu l'shabech adon hakol l'tekidu aleyotzer b'reishit shehu notei shamayim v'yoser aretz u'moshe gitaro b'shamayim ima'al l'shchinat tuzo b'gofei merovim hu Eloheinu eino b'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God bless you. We continue continue on page 287, page 591. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yileh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Page 289, page 593. The light of life is a finite flame, like the Shabbat candles. Life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full, but as night follows day, the candle of our life burns. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. On this Shabbat, we remember the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths of C.J. Alvarado, Morris Fishbein, Miriam Newman Kaufman, Bertha M. Klein, Rebecca Lulke, Betty Jo Mabry, Dee Dee Mayer, Herman Moisey Jr., Joseph Van Oz, Barbara K. Painter, Pearl Rayner, Aaron Selber Jr., Yolande Saint-Pierre. And we remember for Beth Shalom Synagogue during the period of the first year of death, Mark Cohn, Lorraine Beverly Sclaver, Judy Waxman, Tibor Parasai, Paul Hussman, Herbert Barton, Margaret Winkler, Charles Hickman. And for Beth Shalom Synagogue, we remember the yard sites of Leah Benzman, Bluma Hoffman, Ida Leibovitz, Clara DeVries, David Levine, David Bauman, Marilyn Deitch, Harry Lewis Wander. Are there other names that we keep in mind at this time of memory? If so, please say their names now. For those that we name and those that we keep close in our hearts, Kaddish is found on page 294, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma devra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kari v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Please be seated. I'm sorry?
Do I get to sit down?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
You have to stand right there because everybody else got a chance to bless you, and now it's my chance to bless you. Okay? Okay. So let's go stand up next to the ark. We won't open the ark, but we will, because we just told everybody to go sit down, but we will. So I have had just a wonderful time with you this year. And I am so proud to call you my student. And I see such promise, as you grow into the person that you're going to be 10 years from now, 30 years from now, even 50 years from now. I know it seems very abstract to someone who is your age. But the work that you do with the Boy Scouts and the way that you are with your family and expressions of who you are as a friend. You are somebody who is growing into being a mensch. You know what mensch is? The word mensch means literally man. But a mensch is somebody who's a good person, somebody that you want to be with, somebody that you want to know, somebody that you know will always do the right thing even when it's tough. And I want to say, I see you becoming a mensch. Maybe a linguist and a mensch, but a mensch. So, Mazel tov, congratulations. You did good today. Okay? Now I'm going to ask you to stand up. So there are two blessings that I give to students who become B'nai Mitzvah. The first blessing I give you is the blessing of becoming. So Noah Alton Finkelman, be who you are and be blessed in who you are. I see all sorts of possibilities of blessings in the person that you're becoming, and it's going to be wonderful to see who you become. The second blessing that I give is Birkat Kohanim, the priestly benediction. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. May God's countenance be lifted up to you, and may God grant you all good things, but most especially the blessing of peace. Keni Hiratzon, may this be God's will. Now you can go sit down. And you all can be seated. Yet one more thank you for Beth Shalom Synagogue. This was really above and beyond. Thank you to Jeremy and Teresa and your families. Such a pleasure to be part of shaping this and helping you with this and working with Noah. And I am so proud to have him as one of my students. I really am. And I hope I'm not doing the wrong thing, but what we've worked out is that the Kiddush luncheon is still at B'nai, because in the social hall, there's air conditioning. In the social hall, there's just in the sanctuary, there's zero airflow. So the Kiddush luncheon is at B'nai Israel. There's both inside and outside venues. And I want to wish a mazel tov again to Noah and to his whole family, and to say Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Thank you so much. Take care and be well. Shabbat Shalom. You did it. You did it. Okay. I'm going to take this book back.
I have another book that's yours at the house.
Will you please bring it back to me? Great.
Congratulations. Would you believe I had gone over to B'nai? I was going to go. I wanted to go to the bar mitzvah, and there was nobody there. I said, well, I don't know what's going on. And I came over. I thought it must be virtual or something. And I came over here, and I said,
Oh, because we put signs in all the doors. You just knew that there was nothing going on, and therefore.
And I looked at anyway. It just worked out. I'm glad it happened.
I didn't look. I admit to not looking because I admit to having a lot on my brain today. There you go.
Ah.
It's a full set. My apologies.
Good job, baby.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay.
Impressively tired.
That's good. Happy tears are a good thing to cry for. Okay? There.
You got your book?
I've got my book, or rather your book, or my book that I lent you.
Thank you for doing that.